All right, what is going on? DJ Crowley here. It's Simmer Down live from home, and we have arguably one of the biggest, most influential reggae bands in the modern world in the house, Paul Wolstencroft of Slightly Stoopid and Organically Good Trio. What's going on, man?
Not much. How you doing? It's good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, it's good to see you too. And I see you got that Reggae Rise Up or sweatshirt on there.
This thing right
Yeah,
here.
that old thing. You got that Reggae Rise Up hoodie there, or sweatshirt, whatever you call it. And you guys just got done with two Rise Ups. How you feeling, man? Tell us about getting back to music.
Oh, it's incredible getting back to play music, and especially gigs like the Reggae Rise festivals they're really great. They pack people in, they get a great set of bands to play it. The production's top notch. I got all the keyboards I wanted. It was fantastic. I loved it. I love both of them, because there was Vegas and then the one we just did in St. Pete's,
Right.
Florida.
And they've stepped it up, man. I was looking at Sugar Shack's videos and everything. I mean, it is just crazy out there. I mean, they're just doing a wonderful job with that. And I
Yeah.
mean, it's the whole family's back in town. It's crazy when you go to one of those things after this thing that we went through to see all your family. It must be great, man.
Yeah, that's what everybody says is they're back there. That's what we're all talking about. We're like, I can't believe we're back. This show's been sold out for, I don't know, 2 to 3 years, something crazy like that. Both of them have. And now we're finally doing it. And here we are. And here is everybody. And we're with all our friends. And like a lot of our favorite fans are showing up. And we're having a great time doing it.
Yeah, man. If you guys are just tuning in, you're late. It's all good. We got Paul from Slightly Stoopid in the house hanging out with us today. And we're going to start off talking about Slightly Stoopid. We're going to get into OGT a little later. But I
Okay.
want to go way back with you. How did you're from Boston. You live in Boston. That's how we met up there when I lived up there. How did you find Slightly Stoopid and come together into this band?
Well, it's networking, really. The short answer is that I was known by the current sound guy and both the horn players I had played with before, and I knew them. So there was some sort of connection. And then in 2009, Stupid was stepping up their whole summer tour game, and it was the tour with Snoop Dogg and Stephen Marley, the Blazed and Confused tour. And they just wanted to add a permanent keyboard player, have a permanent horn section, make everything sound a little bigger, a little stronger. And I guess through recommendations, I got a call from Miles one morning, and I'd never met him. I didn't know him. And he called and said, listen, we're friends of friends. We're coming to a studio in Boston. Do you want to come out and jam and hang out for a bit? So of course, yeah, I wanted to. And I went down there and we jammed and hung out. And that was in early 2009. And then I got a call from them, probably in May, right, a month before their summer tour, like, come out here, let's try this, let's see how it sounds. And that was it. I was hired for that one summer, funnily enough, and that was it. And then I never ended up leaving. I stuck around.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't leave either if I were you. That's it.
No.
That yeah.
That'd be a silly move.
Nah, don't be moving there. That's interesting. You're talking about the Snoop Dogg thing. That was that 3-year period where Snoop Dogg decided to go on tour with like 311 and you guys and everybody else. I'll bet you what was it like being on tour with Snoop Dogg?
Well, you got to remember that I was coming from pre-Stupid. I was playing in a whole load of bands that played to like 100 people tops. So for me, it was just a whole shift in dynamic. The size of the stages, the grandeur of having someone famous like Snoop Dogg and his entourage and his bodyguards around. And frankly, really just meeting Slightly Stoopid for the first time and figuring out what they're doing. But the big shift for me was going from that small stage to big stage. The sound and the way you approach the gig it's very different.
It is for sure. I remember those days, the 09, 2010, 08, and Snoop Dogg just decides to show up in our scene. So
Yeah, right.
that's interesting, your story about how you kind of came together with the band. I have another question here that kind of relates to that, because DC, Don Carlos and Charlie Tuna, among others, are almost becoming, you've almost adopted them as Slightly Stoopid
They're
family.
fully, oh no, they're totally fully adopted as Slightly Stoopid family, as many others who come and sit in with us on a regular basis. But yeah, Don Carlos, of course, we call him our uncle for a reason, because that's how he feels to us. You know, he's fantastic. He's always there. He's always like, you know, you've seen him, right? He's always
Oh
dressed
yeah, I
up
know him. Yeah.
perfectly, singing perfectly, looks fantastic. Looks like a movie every time he steps onto the stage, you know?
He's got that big suit on. I remember he had that like velvet red suit at Cali Roots, I think, one year.
Among others, he's got some sequin stuff. He's surprisingly flashy in the dressing department. He's got the white suit. I love it. And
Yeah, man.
Charlie Tuna, I'm a big fan. I love Jurassic 5. He's fantastic. He's definitely family, you know. It seems like he's playing with us now more often than not.
Yeah, and I mean, family is everything within this band. Whether it's from with the fans, with your slightly stupid groups and all that stuff, or with the artists that you come in, it's all a big family. You look at TRI Studios back in the day, with Bob Weir and all that. You have any other things coming up? Any other people you want to adopt into Slightly Stupid?
Oh man, I mean, we could adopt Tyree. I would like that. You know, she sits in sometimes. She's fantastic. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head who I'd adopt, but I'm a fan of a lot of people who I'd love to sit in, you know?
Yeah. Trish was doing tattoos at the Sugar Shack booth at Rise Up from when
I saw that. She gave I remember seeing she gave Miles a tattoo while we were there.
Did she really? So she
Yeah.
tattooed my
She knows her business, you know. She's not just a great singer.
Yeah, no,
you could also get a cool tat from her, you know.
Man, that's I saw that. That was just absolutely incredible. Man, I wish I was down there for that. That just looked like a big party, man. So, hey, if you're just tuning in, once again, you're late. We got Paul from Slightly Stupid in the house. We're talking about Slightly Stupid, but we also are going to be talking about something you may not know about Paul and Slightly Stupid. There are so many side projects going on within our scene right now. We look at Stick Figure with K-Bong and Cosmic and so many others. And it is no exception with Slightly Stupid. Ramo has his side project. That Kinetic record is so dope. We've been spinning that one super hard. And you have OGT with it's a super group. You have Van with Dub Apocalypse. You have Tommy Benedetti with JBB. Tell us about OGT.
OGT, we've been together like 5 or 6 years. It was an idea that we got at one point. Van and I were doing like 100 gigs together. We were playing a lot of brunches together, a lot of small stages, a lot of this and that. And I was talking to him one time and I was like, wouldn't it be cool if I was playing the organ bass and we did reggae tunes and then we'd get like Tommy Benedetti, who's the most steadiest reggae drummer in town, on it. And then like 2 months later, it just sort of came up and we had a great gig opening for the Scatolites and we just did it. And that was it. OGT was born right there.
What do you guys got coming up for OGT? For anybody in the New England area, you definitely got to go check out OGT. I mean, it's funky, it's jammy, there's reggae, there's this, there's that. I mean, I remember that with that weekend at Levitate Backyard when you opened for us. And I mean, people were just getting down.
It was fun. That was fun. Well, funnily enough, we are opening for the Elevators again down at the Paradise. It's the Saturday. I can't remember if I think it's January 8th. Could be the 7th.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, no, we're on there with Tropidelic and the Elevators and Aldous Collins Band. And we're looking forward to that. That's our first big hometown play in a while. And we'll see what happens. It's a mystery what's going to happen with this gigging scene, because here in Boston, you can get 1 million gigs outdoors, but I don't know how it's transitioning to indoors just yet, you know, given the times and how club owners are and everything like that. I guess we'll sort of wait and see what happens.
Yeah, that's kind of what this whole scene is right now. I was talking with Rhodes of Tropidelic last week, and he said this point right now, even though things are changing and sort of coming back to normal, it seems like the hardest point, because there's so much we don't know what's 100% going on. We're kind of back, but we're kind of not. There's kind of these restrictions.
Some places are more back than others. Reggae Rise Up is pretty back.
Yeah,
closer to the sun like is back. And you know, the Cali Vibes Fest is coming up for Stoopid in February, that first week in February. That's going to be a really, really cool show too, I think.
Yeah. And speaking of close to the sun, let's get into that. So, you know, that's another thing.
He's my favorite subject. Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, let's get into it. So, you know, there's a lot of bands that are putting on their own festivals. It's really becoming a thing. Tropidelic now has Everwild, which used to be the, I can't remember her name off the top of my head. The other one they have surrounded by the sound, surrounded by sun-dried vibes. There's so many different bands trying this, and this ain't easy to put on your own music festival, especially on top of being in a band. Tell us about how Close to the Sun was born and what's happening with it.
Well, I'm not really sure how it was fully born, but it was born. They were having festivals in Mexico, like bluegrass festivals. It was a Cloud9 meets Slightly Stoopid thing, and I'm sure they were like, "Hey, Slightly Stoopid could do a festival here at the same place right after the bluegrass festival. There's an opening in early December." Did it the first time, and it was amazing. It sold out. People went, because it's a big experiment back then. This was before people were doing these destination sort of events. We had done Rombello Cruise the year before, which was slightly different. You're on a boat, and then they came up with the idea of having our own festival, called it Closer to the Sun, invited our best friends, bands to come out and play it, and it just caught on like fire from there. People loved it, and then it grew, of course, as you expect it to, and it moved to the Hard Rock Cafe, and it's a sort of a bigger production. But man, it is one of the funnest times of the year down there.
I bet, man. And right now it is sold out for this one, if I'm not mistaken, but there's a waiting list and everything. How can you find more info on Close to the Sun?
What I've seen is there's a lot of people on like Stoopid Heads who, last minute things come up. They can't do this, they can't do that. There's some trading going on there. The wait list is kind of long, I think. I think your best bet to getting on there is, aside from putting yourself on the wait list on closertothesun.com, is getting onto Stoopid Heads, logging in, say, "Hey, I'm looking, is anyone selling their spot at the festival this year?" And I can tell you, man, it's worth it. It's pricey, I'm sure, but you're there, and once you get there, everything's included. There's nothing to worry about. There's a million good shows to see. There's all your friends are there, swimming, events. It really is a blast, I gotta say. And the Hard Rock's cool.
Yeah, I like how it was set up with like kind of courtyard style, if I'm not mistaken, with all the hotels around the actual showgrounds, so they can kind of like check it out from the balcony of their hotel room too, if they want, right?
You're talking about people who are staying at the Hard Rock?
Yeah. Well, the last Close to the Sun, I saw it was kind of just like this courtyard kind of esque area where their hotels were kind of all around it. Yeah,
well, it's all one hotel. The Hard Rock is enormous there. Like, it takes like 10 minutes from walk to one side to the other.
Oh wow.
But that is that's the courtyard where we have the main stage for the Closer to the Sun, where people will headline, the late night show. There's smaller shows on the side during the day in the lagoons, on the beach, and then up in a late night place. But the main stage is right in that courtyard, which is like the middle of the Hard Rock Hotel, and there's a lot of room sort of surrounding it.
Yeah,
so it's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, closetothesun.com. That'll get you to the page that says we are sold out. So definitely definitely hit up the Stoopid Heads. And if you guys aren't a member of the Stoopid Heads, get on Facebook and get into that group. Some of the coolest group of fans and family, we like to call, in the country, man. Just you go to a show, just like with 311 vibes, that kind of cult, happy, positive cult. I guess you could say that you go to a show, you may not know anybody, they'll take you right in and you will have a blast. So everybody wants to know what's coming up. When's the new record? What is there a new record for Slightly Stoopid? What's coming up?
Well, there's always something going on in the recording department. I don't think there's a full record made yet, but we've been putting down a lot of tracks in the studio where we rehearse, and we'd sort of get to the studio, and Kyle is very busy in the recording studio saying, "I got all these new tracks. Let's lay down some stuff on it. Let's do some work on it." Miles has got some new tracks going with some great special guests, and I can't say for sure when a release will happen or how they would release it as singles or a full album. I'm not really sure how it's going to go, but we're going to find out soon enough.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys are just tuning in, you're very late. Paul from Slightly Stoopid and OGT in the house with us. Really stoked to have you, man. I know you just probably got off your flight maybe yesterday from St. Petersburg for the blast down there at Reggae Rise Up. Man, I want to go back to OGT one last second here, because you were talking about the organ. I have had the pleasure of loading that thing in and out of your
Yes.
minivan, and it is
Yeah.
probably the coolest thing in the world. Tell us about that organ and where you found it, and how you incorporate it and all that good stuff.
Now, so the B3 organ, I've always loved it. Even from when I first started out in live gigging days, it was sort of like the jam band scene, and everyone from Fish to Widespread Panic to all these bands, they all had an organ in the band, and I had to get one. So I did, and then years later, I actually had been doing it enough and got pretty good at it. I got a gig with an organ, an organ trio that played pretty much every day, and got figured out how to play the bass, how to do the pedals. I sort of took bass lessons and all sorts of things. And now, I'm kind of that's my thing now, is the organ.
It's such a cool
It's
thing. I mean,
it's wonderful. Yeah, it's so vintage. There's so many tubes in the organ and so many tubes in the Leslie speaker. You can't help but sound good on it no matter what you do.
yeah,
But it's a lot of range on it. It's a great instrument. I love it.
it really is, man. Check out, how can we find more info on Organically Good Trio?
I think the best thing is to go to Instagram, Organically Good Trio, right on Instagram or Facebook, and just there's lots of videos, plenty of footage. You check it out. You'll figure it out shortly enough. It really consists of only two things. It's sort of like vintage reggae 60s music, like Grant Green or Jack McDuff, combined with sort of a roots reggae sort of vibe like Jackie Matu, with some improv over the top, and that's basically it.
It's just get down music.
Well, the thing that makes it the thing that makes it unique, really, for us is because there's no bass player. I play the bass, and there's only three of us. And for only three of us in a band could be an interesting dynamic in the sound, just like in any three-piece band.
Yeah, it can be very difficult. You have to, enlarge your sound with, with each instrument,
That's
because
right.
you don't
That's right.
have all that. Yeah, it's
The more
such a
instruments,
dope band.
yeah, the more instruments, the less you do. So
Yeah.
with only three of us, it's kind of fun for us because we all get a lot of room to play, sing, jam out, do everything.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I know you're probably busy with your slightly stupid day, but we got a few more questions. Gonna go a little deeper here.
Oh,
I've
all
been
right.
talking with a lot of people. I talk with a lot of artists, and when I get to talk with someone who has been around this scene as long as you have, I really want to ask you this here. How has reggae changed from back when you started to now? What do you see?
That's a big loaded question because it's changed a lot. It's changed a lot from, you want to go back to talking about reggae that I grew up on and listened to. I think my first reggae influence was Peter Tosh, Bob Marley, in college, maybe Steel Pulse, a lot of Jamaican artists, or a lot of British Jamaican artists. And it's really changed in the fact that it's moved to the States, and it's a different crowd of people playing the music, and they're putting their own interpretation on it. The sound has come, it's a less rootsy sound now, I would say, a more poppy sort of edge to it. But there's definitely, I mean, anyone can hear the difference, right, between the roots reggae and let's say going to one of these festivals and seeing all the bands there.
Right. No, exactly. It's crazy what's happening to it. I was talking with WFX. He's from Australia, and he's in somewhere in Europe now. But I was asking him about reggae, and he said it's the future, man. There's nothing that's evolving and growing more than the genre of reggae music, and it really is. It seems like so it appeals to so many different people, because you look at roots music, that's going to appeal to this demographic. You look at modern reggae, SoCal stuff, that's going to appeal to this demographic. You look at this, that, because reggae is everything. It's this whole family of things happening. And with you being a veteran in this scene, it's interesting to know like what you see. What I mean?
What's interesting is traveling, going to different countries and seeing what their version of reggae is like. It was really interesting going to Brazil and seeing all these Brazilian bands that were in a way similar to us, but a Brazilian version. It's just wonderful to see. Same with like even going to Japan, seeing Japanese reggae bands. There's all sorts of movement. You're right. It is a very diverse sort of thing going on. And the Jamaican music itself has been changing for years, constantly developing. And it's definitely turned into a much larger thing than it used to. It's hit the mainstream completely at this point, you know.
It really has, man. So I got like two more questions here, and they're kind of related to this. The last one I always save for the end when I interview somebody for the first time. We'll get to that in a second, but
Okay.
I'm gonna kind of go into your head for a second. Imagine, say, Rise Up, Sunday night, whatever it was. When you walked out on that stage, what do you see? You rock stage. You're rocking
Oh my
huge
God.
shows
What a
every night.
rush. What a rush. The Reggae Rise Up are some of the biggest ones. Like, I'm not really even sure how many people were in Florida Saturday night, but it looked like about 20,000 just as a quick look up. So it's
Wow.
when you first, it's a bit of a rush, man. You get up on stage, you look out, and the greatest thing about this crowd that I just love is that you've already won them over before you even start. They're already clapping and yelling out songs they want to hear, and like people are ready to go from the first note. That's what I love about Stoopid and the Stoopid crowd is people are really ready to see music. They're ready to party, have a fun time. It's not like this, he's not very good. I've seen better. You don't really get that vibe as much. And that makes it really fun to play for people like that who are into it, accepting, they know your stuff. They love this whole scene. All of their friends are there. I mean, that's the great thing about this whole scene that's going on is there's so much crossing over and friendships happening in addition to the music, you know.
Yeah.
Sort of like a alternate universe Grateful Dead scene.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, one more question for you. It's been a blast, Paul. It's good to talk to you. At least it's on the video phone. I miss you. I hope to see you sometime soon. What does reggae mean to you?
Oh, reggae is for me, it's my first choice of music. It's my meditation. It's my way of, if I'm going in a long car ride and someone says, what do you want to listen to? You know, it's almost always reggae. I want to hear some Burning Spear. I want to hear some old Bob Marley. I want to hear all these Trojan reggae stuff. Or I want to hear some of the new bands that are coming out, like the Elevators or Vanilla or Kyle Smith. It's really, I say, to me, it's my world, I guess, for the most part. It's not the only thing I do, but it's definitely in the forefront of my life for, you know, aside from like family and eating and breathing, the reggae is like, it's true. It's the way I start my day. It's oftentimes the way I end my day. The gigs I play are probably like 80% reggae gigs or reggae related gigs. So yeah, it's my world, been my world for a long time.
Same here, brother. It was great talking to you. I appreciate
Hey, thanks for having me, man. It's good to see you again.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, this is Blue right here. It's my partner in crime, my co-host, making everything look and sound wonderful.
What's up, big man?
Yeah. All right, Paul. Thank you so much, man. We'll talk to you again soon. All right.
Thanks very much.
Peace and love.